Fort Myers. Jeremy Fears averaging double-digit assists per game, leading the country. Caleb Wilson is the phenom freshman, averaging 20 and 10. Luka Bogovac has been inserted into the starting lineup the last few games with Seth Trimble out. Broken left forearm in a workout mishap at the beginning of November. Maybe still about another month away, but they'll miss his defense and his ability to get to the rim. Tom Izzo in his 31st season as Michigan State head coach. They made it to the Elite Eight last season, trying to get to the Final Four for the first time in 6 years. That'll be the goal at the end of the year. Meanwhile, Hubert Davis in year number 5. This team just snuck into the tournament last year, got bounced in the first round, but they have much higher hopes this season. It's time for our keys to the game. They're sponsored by Jeep. There's only one, Jimmy.
I talked about the size of North Carolina. Very important that the Spartans finish their defense with a defensive rebound so they can get out and run. UNC, they'll turn the ball over. Not a lot, but critical times. If you do that against Michigan State, you'll pay dearly.
Roger Ayers is our lead official, coming off his 7th Final Four last season. Brian Dorsey and Randy Richardson round out the veteran arbiter crew. Here from Fort Myers, Florida. Excellent matchup. Some young superstar players on the floor tonight. It'll be Carson Cooper and Caleb Wilson, the freshman, for the tap. Spartans win it, and away we go. Here is Fears at the controls for Michigan State. Trey Fort into Cooper, working against Henry Bessar. Fort thought about it, took it, and hit it.
As you've seen against these kind of teams right against Kentucky, you hit the outside shot for Michigan State, it just allows their offense a little bit more freedom of space to work. Really good sign for MSU. First jump shot.
Bessar with the top hook over the top of Jackson Kohler. Cooper clears the rebound. Here's Kohler. Early takeoff for flight 55. 5-0 State. One of the most, if not the most, electric dunker in the country. Here's Kyan Evans, watched by Carr. Wilson going to work. What a move, what a play! And Caleb Wilson, the freshman, answers right back.
Not to be outdone, he loves that dunker spot inside. Quick jump, if you're late, cancel Christmas.
Here is Cooper, they're trying to post up Kohler. He's battling with Wilson. Cooper needed help. It was deflected away. Here comes UNC. Already a solid pace in the early couple minutes. Bessar coming off a career-high 24-point performance against St. Bonaventure. Michigan State coming off a win against ECU. Both those games here on Tuesday. Stevenson knifing through multiple defenders, and Carr with the elevation for the rejection.
Great elevation, but how about the reaction to get back defensively?
Carr too strong. Kohler with the backside board. The cut by Fort. It's loose to Wilson. Here comes Caleb Wilson, the freshman. You're seeing young, flying superstars in Florida tonight.
Oh, goodness. Young fella.
Here's Kohler working on Wilson. Has the size on him, and a reach-in foul on the freshman. Pick a dunk and enjoy.
Now you said flight 55. Oh, lefty. And then right back at you. Off the dribble. The ability to get by, then finish up top. And us. Freshman not done. Now you know we're close to Cape Canaveral, right?
This is takeoff area is what you're saying.
Cape Canaveral, we're really close.
I got a couple of rockets lifting off in the first 3 minutes. My goodness. Here's Fort. Couldn't get the shot off in rhythm. Watched by Kyan Evans. Pull-up jumper is short. Rebound into the hands of Cooper. Out to Fears. And a reset with the shot clock to 20. Here is a tough corner three from Carr. Offensive rebound, Polar, and count the basket. It'll be a goaltend on Caleb Wilson. Time for some players to watch. They're sponsored by Skechers. Experience comfort that performs on the court with Skechers basketball.
With Jeremy Fears, have to control tempo, limit the turnovers, get into sets, and also point of the ball attack defense is going to be huge. And we already know Caleb Wilson inside. His ability not just to score, but to play and make plays for his teammates is going to be very important.
He called for it. He has it. Working on Cooper. Putting the moves on a veteran big and draws a foul on Carson Cooper. And Caleb Wilson, who's already shot 49 free throws in his first 6 collegiate games, is headed to the free throw line.
And for a young player, he's able to pick up those kind of fouls. Carson Cooper should understand he's going away from the basket, okay? So if Caleb Wilson wants to turn back to his right shoulder, falling away, you contest the shot. There are times where Wilson will force the situation. It may not be a good look, but because he's so athletic, he'll end up the better end of that, picking up the foul, getting himself to the free throw line.
Where he's provided a lot of punch already, 20 points per game with very efficient shooting numbers. He's the first North Carolina freshman in its program's history to have 4 consecutive double-doubles. Antoine Jamison didn't do that. There's a handful of guys that never got to 4 straight. Fears slipped, was able to keep the feet, trying to elevate inside was Cam Ward. North Carolina on the run out. Bogovats underneath, lost it, got it back, and scored it to give Carolina the lead.
Yeah, but Bogovats, you know he saw Carr coming out.
That's right.
So he made sure that pump fake off 2 feet and finish on the other side of the rim.
He was waiting for that clear out.
You know it.
Here's Fears, watched by Evans. They enter it into Cam Ward, a freshman from Maryland, working on a fellow freshman. Kick out, Carr. Elevates and jams! He's putting on a highlight reel show in the first 4+ minutes. And a whistle and a foul called on Carr. And how about Carr? With this impressive 51.5-inch elevation, he and Wilson and Bogovats all putting on some performances.
Michigan State, you knew at some point Cohen Carr would be able to get inside and just show that athleticism. That's twice, my friend.
Fox College Hoops is sponsored by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Probably ham for sure. Why? I don't like turkey.
I'm kind of picky, plain, but turkey, dressing, and greens.
My grandma's mashed potatoes. I don't know if I still don't know if she just uses the package, just adds more salt to it or not.
I am just not a potatoes guy, like mashed potatoes guy, to be honest. I like yams because like they're sweet. Cranberry sauce. Oh my gosh, that is so nasty. Why do people even? That's disgusting. Wait, I don't even want that touching anything on my spoon, my plate, nothing. You can leave that in the can.
Jimmy Jackson pumped his fist at the cranberry sauce mention and then realized Cohen Carr was not a fan of it. Cohen Carr is a fan of elevating, so is Caleb Wilson. This has been an incredible fun first 4 minutes.
But it's all about the energy. We're early in the season. You can tell how much this game means to these young men. You have athletic, long, skilled players going at it, and they're just going to outdo each other. Okay, your turn, Caleb. Okay, going, my turn. Back and forth. But they're making spectacular plays within the game, and that's the beautiful part of what we've seen early on. Not trying to do too much, but doing just enough to, one, excite the crowd, but also engage your teammates a little bit more.
We're expecting this type of high-octane effort throughout this game today. Big matchup. Both these teams already have some signature quadrant 1 wins on the season. Carolina has knocked off Kansas at home. They'll get a shot at Kentucky. Michigan State has wins against Arkansas and Kentucky as well. Duke's coming up on their schedule, so this is another early season resume builder for a couple of teams that have high expectations for the end of the season. There's Jaron Stevenson, watched by Carr. Bogovats sets it up. Bessar inside, using the glass.
Beautiful play coming out the timeout. Got an inside corner. Bessar able to get himself just a little bit above the block. showing a nice touch off the glass.
Coming off 24 and 13 in that win over St. Bonaventure. Here's Fort. Senior at his 6th season. Carr, the fading lefty jumper goes down. He's off to a hot start.
Just his ability to get to a spot then raise over the top. Once he gets really consistent, 15-foot jump shot, now stretching that range out, that just opens his game up to a whole new level.
Bogavac penetrates, and a reach-in foul on Trey Fort is called.
Well, let's go back to the play with North Carolina coming out the timeout. Look, this empty corner is there for a reason, because now you're going to have all of this space to work with. And once you do that off the pick and roll, that's all right there, able to get himself not too deep in the lane, but enough that once he turned to the baseline, he was able to utilize his size and soft touch off the glass.
They did call a foul on Fears rather than Fort. This will end up being a Michigan State foul as well. This time it'll go on Kurt Tang, who stepped in to take the spot of Cam Ward.
I tell you what, for the fans that haven't seen North Carolina play yet, the combination of Henry Basar and also Caleb Wilson, how they've been able to work together and gel so early in the season.
Oh, Wilson got free, and Bogavac was able to find him. There's some of the chemistry you're talking about.
It's just, you make a mistake with either one of these teams on a coverage mistake, it's another highlight waiting to happen.
Tremendous athleticism. A lot of high chemistry groupings on both sides today. 5 early lead changes in the early going, and Cooper makes it 6. 6 minutes in. Basar, the transfer from Arizona, native of Estonia. That 7-foot presence up top, setting the screen for Bogavac, who crosses, drives, flips, no.
Yeah, but guess what? Cohen Carr out the corner of the eye. You throw it up a little bit harder. But let's go back. Caleb Wilson, once again, a breakdown in defense here is because everybody had eyes on the ball. And that time, no one on the back line. Even if it was, I don't think they were going to jump in. Carson Cooper identified where the opening is at. He knew he wanted to get back to the baseline, but that crab dribble in the lane gave him a little bit more lead room to get to that right shoulder.
Foul on Basar will send it to Michigan State. A loose ball foul. Fears off the curl, on the drive, tough clutch, won't go. And a rebound attempt by Cooper. He got bumped. And that will be a foul against North Carolina. Call that against James Brown. 6'10" sophomore comes in off the bench. He's going to get a little bit more run today. Trying to get him involved, as Hubert Davis says he's trying to build up this bench.
Yep. And that's going to be a challenge for them throughout the year. Starting 5, top 6 players. When you start going 7, 8, 9, it's going to be a challenge early right now for North Carolina.
Cooper couldn't finish. Ball comes out high for Jonathan Powell. And it's Evans at the controls. They rotate away from Wilson. It's Powell taking a deep one. Around and out. Rebound grabbed by Jackson Kohler. Senior out of Utah, averaging 15 and 9.5 rebounds. Thought about a 3. He can shoot it from out there. Shoots better than 40% from outside. Trying to get Fears free. Cooper picked up the dribble, got it to his fellow big. Kohler against Wilson with the hook. And Wilson clears the rebound.
Did a lot of work. He was right there in front of the rim, just left it a little bit short. When you have an athlete like Wilson guarding you, trying to get to that shot up quicker because of that athleticism.
You can see the length as well, and the shot. That won't go for Wilson. Here comes Michigan State on the push, nearly 8 minutes in. Cooper. Carr was covered up backdoor. Kohler, 45% shooter from 3. Couldn't get the bounce on the softer rim of the 2.
Yeah, good look, though.
Wilson Up and over move, and he draws contact on Kohler. That'll take us to a timeout. Wilson will have free throws 3 and 4 on the other side, and what's been a back and forth, entertaining first 8 minutes.
Hi, I'm Hubert Davis, head men's basketball coach, University of North Carolina. On behalf of the entire Carolina basketball family, I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.
Welcome back to the Skechers Fort Myers tip-off. Outstanding contest so far. It's been a lot of fun. 13-12. Michigan State leads North Carolina. A couple of unbeatens so far this season. Here are some teams that have gone into some tougher matchups across the country in some of these early season tournaments, suffering their first loss this week. These two teams trying to avoid their first loss in North Carolina and Michigan State, and two players that are trying their best to prevent that loss from happening have been stuffing the rims early.
Yeah, two of the most athletic players in the country. You're talking about losing for the first time. I think this year, I don't know if it's going to be a dominant team, but a lot of really good teams that will compete. I think that's the beauty of college basketball and where it's at in some aspect because of the transfer portal. You have different rosters, rebuilds, retooling, but it's some outstanding freshmen. You know, speaking of which, that, I mean, are going to draw a lot of eyes on the screen as well. Absolutely.
Teams across the country, too. Out east, St. John's is a high-octane offensive team. Michigan and Gonzaga had a really fun matchup. Michigan's blowing teams out right now. Houston suffered a loss, but Kelvin Sampson says, I want to be playing my best ball in March as they build.
And I love to see these non-conference tournaments or teams playing each other, because the reality is in college basketball, you don't lose anything with regards to standing to be in the NCAA tournament like football. But it gives you a barometer, it's a test to see where you're at early in the season and what you need to get better at. Even when you win, it's still ways that you look at that film and say, okay, we still need to continue to grow before conference season really hits.
Wilson gets a break after scoring double figures already. He's got 10 of the 14 for North Carolina. Jordan Scott, the freshman, feeds off to a fellow freshman in Ward. Tapped alive and into the hands of Kurtang. Carson Cooper kept that ball alive for State.
And he did it with his body because he was able to move Basar out of the lane a little bit. That allowed the tip to go right into Forte's hand. Wow.
Stevenson with a smooth shot. Junior out of Chapel Hill is back in his hometown colors after a couple of years at Alabama. He puts Carolina back on top by 2. Scott trying to get free. He does for a foul line jumper. Tipped alive by Vesar and out of bounds. Love the mid-range game, too. It's not just dunks and threes. A lot of mid-range effort here, too.
Well, the versatility in the lineup for North Carolina. Yes, Stevenson is 6'10", but he can step out. So you don't have your traditional bigs that are just kind of clogging and holding up space. The versatility, I think, is going to bode well, especially in conference play for the Tar Heels.
Picked to finish 3rd in the ACC behind Duke and Louisville. There's a turnover as Divine Ugochukwu, the sophomore from Sugar Land, Texas, the transfer from Miami, who's got very fast feet on the defensive end. Those feet failed him that time.
Well, that time he slipped. Ugochukwu that time wanted to get to a spot. Excellent defense. He got cut off, not playing off 2 feet. Really caused the drag of his pivot foot.
A whistle away from the ball. They call Jordan Scott for it. That's a 5 on Michigan State. They only have 1 foul to give now. We're not even halfway through the first.
Getting to the penalty be huge for North Carolina. Now they do, as a team, only shoot at 70%.
Below NCAA average. Yeah. And that was the last foul to give for Michigan State. Dixon into the game. Finding Vestar as the muscle through Jackson Kohler, rolling on the deck. Loose ball saved to Bogovac for 3. Long rebound right into the hands of Dixon.
Carolina get a chance to reset here. High pick and roll. Vestar
touched by Michigan State. Everybody's okay. Everybody's checking on each other.
I tell you what, this is really outstanding backline defense, but this time Carr comes down the lane to be able to get it.
Not much of a breather for Wilson as he comes right back in. Cooper will check in to add some size. You see the double big lineups both ways now again.
You want to monitor the minutes based upon what your opponent does with their bigs as well to keep those matchups intact.
Dixon, and he lost this pivot foot. We should note that the floor has been a little slippery these last couple of days. We have seen some pivot foots go flying. That was the first North Carolina turnover. Tar Heels have had turnover problems this year, but mostly in the first half. They have seemingly calmed down as they go further into the game. That was the case against St. Bonaventure as well.
Well, tend to get sped up in that first half, the hype, especially when you play big games like this. But even, in Tuesday's game against a lesser-known opponent, those 11 turnovers, a lot of those were unforced.
That's right.
East Carolina.
Here's Wilson in the ISO game, and it's out of bounds. Good defense by Carson Cooper.
I mean, against St. Bonaventure, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Is there ice underneath?
That's what I think there might be. It feels.
I'm saying, like, did they play hockey or have another?
Well, first off, it's freezing cold in the building when there's not a bunch of bodies in here. I don't think they play hockey here at Florida Southwestern. Get some spats going or something on the shoes.
No, I could if it was more humid in here,
it would make a little more
moisture, but it's not just because of the temperature. So we're going to keep our eye on that as this game kind of bleeds into the evening a little bit, if that really is much more of an issue.
A lot more slippage.
Yeah, because we didn't see it in the first game.
No.
First game, we didn't have as many guys losing their footing.
Also, these guys are so athletic between these two teams. The stop and go ability. Fears comes to get it to reset. Carr off the curl. He slipped a little bit there. Regains his footing for the jumper. Rebound in traffic, cleared by North Carolina and Powell.
That's some outstanding boxing out by North Carolina. That's just what you want, the ball to kind of drop in the middle of the lane and a guard to come pick it up.
Here's Wilson. Trying to knife through a tough defense of Carson Cooper, and it's out of bounds the other way.
And that's one thing, too. As Caleb Wilson continues to play, he won't force a shot like that. He's so accustomed to being a lot more athletic and taller and rangier than his opponents that he can get away with that. At this level, in particular, getting the ACC, his shot discernment, I think, is going to get better. And he won't take as many tough challenge shots as we've seen in the preseason or the non-conference.
Drive by Fort all the way to the rim, but missed it. Vessar clears for North Carolina. Dixon, Powell, 3. Largest lead either way at 5. Second triple for North Carolina. Dixon hit the deck. Fears finds Fort. 4-3. No. Rebound Wilson. Here comes the freshman. Powell again. Inside. He delivers it to Stevenson in a reset. There's such a long North Carolina front line.
Man. And you got to be careful with your passing because that length creates turnovers and then opportunities for them to turn it in on the break. Wow.
Stevenson turning the corner, laying it in. 7-point lead and a timeout for Michigan State.
Well, Tom Izzo isn't happy right now with his squad as this North Carolina team is on an 8-0 run. Too easy.
Jimmy.
It's one of our favorite segments as we join you from Florida on Thanksgiving. Adam, me, and Jimmy Jackson. You ready for this one?
I am.
All right, Steve Shear, our producer. Let's roll it.
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Let's roll it.
Hey, Jimmy, mashed potatoes or sweet potatoes?
What do you got?
Oh, sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
I feel like that was an easy one for you.
That was a layup.
Speaking of layups, 3 layups, 3 dunks out of the 8 field goal attempts for North Carolina so far.
But that's the mission, because if you shoot long shots, create long rebounds, and now Michigan State can get out and take advantage of it. But the attack early, you shift the defense, you got an outside jump shot. Stevenson on the front and back end of this highlight with the layup. North Carolina kind of showing you different ways in which they can beat you. North Carolina 9-2 fast break points, 8-0. 8-0 run in the last 3:39. Now both teams are hitting the paint 12 points apiece in the paint, but a little bit more efficient offense. North Carolina right now is 8 for 17 at 47%, and Michigan State only 7 for 21 at 33%.
So 2 teams that are both in the 80s. Again, very early in the season, you're going to see those numbers go down across the country. League average, or NCAA average is about 78 points right now. These 2 teams above that. This is what Hubert Davis was hoping for, some depth. See if he can build some of that bench and build some of the depth as they get closer to ACC conference play.
Well, when you get Seth Trimble back, I mean, that shifts a player back to the bench. So that adds to your depth right now. So part of that depletion of the depth or not being able to be as deep is because of the injury as well. That one person makes a big difference.
Seth Trimble was averaging 15 a game the first 2 outings before he got hurt. Let's see if Michigan State can get back on track. They've missed 10 of their last 11 shots of the Spartans. So here's Kohler for 3. Backside rebound, and Vessar, I think, knows he committed the foul as he reached.
I'm going to go back to that. Before the jump shot, it was Jackson Kohler kicked it out to Fort. I thought Fort should have went right back into him, because now he has a really good, not too deep position, but he has Caleb Wilson on his back. You got to challenge a young fella that have to play some defense.
Yep.
Don't go away from Jackson Kohler. He's experienced, and he has some really nice footwork down low on the block.
So Brown has to come back in after Vessar picks up his 2nd foul. Right around the 7-minute mark. 7-point lead. Here's Fears. Penetrating, glass good. Jeremy Fears Jr. averaging 11 points, 10 assists a game, leads the country. He's their best on-ball defender so far this year as well. Here is Stevenson working against Carr. Help defense by Kohler. Powell another 3. Rebound in the corner, and it's going to stay at this end of the floor. Cooper couldn't squeeze. Teams met Maui last year. Michigan State won in overtime in a fun ball game. Here's Wilson. Kick out. Evans. And Kohler the rebound. We're talking about Trimble. He was the one that hit the 3 in regulation last year to force OT. Kohler hits the 3 here to get Michigan State back in it.
And that's how you run your transition break. You push it ahead quick, sink the defense into your trailer. 9 times out of 10 is going to be open on the back end.
There's Kyan Evans. Wilson will fire a 3. That won't go. Tip to the deck. Bodies hitting the floor, and it's flagged down by Jackson Kohler.
All these bodies on the floor may explain why the court is a little more slippery at this point.
Perspiration from all these hustling players on the deck. Fort, the turnaround jumper, just short. Rebound Wilson.
A good move. That time fade away left that jumper just a little bit in the front on the front of the rim.
Wilson grabbed his 5th rebound. He's got 10 points to go along with that. Evans stepping through, kicking out. Stevenson. Rebounded by Cooper. Here comes Fears. Fort's got the lengthier Stevenson guarding him.
Yep. So they try to run him off some screens. That's how you want to attack length, is by movement.
Near travel, but Kohler kept it. Here's Fears. Lob. Cooper! Oh!
But you shift the defense. That time, James Brown is playing kind of center field drop coverage. And when you do that, you're in no man's land. No backside help. Carson Cooper able to use his left hand and flush it right through. Beautiful play, beautiful finish.
What did you say earlier about length? How do you beat that? With movement.
And that's what you have to do. Again, it's the side to side, getting to the second side, then moving, then passing. That opens up these little gaps. And that's when you can attack off the dribble and try to force either the help to come, drop off, or the ball handler has a shot.
Foul was against Brown. So he's got 2 as well. Cooper misses the free throw, but let's see, we got a whistle here. Lane violation?
Yep.
Indeed. So another opportunity for Cooper. Carson Cooper, another chance, and this time he puts Michigan State back on top. The Spartans answer an 8-0 run with one of their own.
And whatever Coach Izzo said to his squad, and that timeout is working because the defense is tightened up, and offensively you have a little bit more pop to their sets.
Traveling violation. There's the defense from Divide. Ugo Chukwu.
Well, when you get defensive stops, this is what you can do. Jackson Cola starts to break, but watch this. When we freeze it right here, look at where all of North Carolina players are at. They're down below the free throw line, and because of that, you got an open shot for the trailer. Money ball, Jackson Cola.
And this is going the other way. Foul called on Cooper, an offensive foul. So for Carson Cooper, that's going to be his second.
And you hate for Cooper to have to pick up fouls like that far away from the court, knowing that those fouls are so valuable with the length of this North Carolina team. You want to be aggressive when you set the pick, but sometimes it's better that far out to let the player kind of just go, then pick up that foul. I know Cooper didn't want to do it, but he leaned in this a little bit too much.
So Cam Ward comes back in at 6'9". He's pretty sizable for a freshman at 230 pounds.
Wait, keep our eye on that too. You got 4 minutes and 14 seconds left. This game, Michigan State is up 1. Cooper goes to the bench, at this time. So let's see how that affects Michigan State in particular, how they're playing inside the paint. Cooper Davis is upset about something.
Here's what had him as apoplectic as he was. Bogavats. Reset. Evans. Step back. That's a 3 short. Rebound to Fears. Cross court. Ugo Chukwu for the 3.
And that's an example of a bad shot that leads to a high-valued shot in transition. Ugo Chukwu, big-time three-point shot.
And stopped by Ward off the bench with the block. Fears inside. Ward. A 13-0 answered run by Michigan State.
Ugo Chukwu right there finding his range in transition, but not to be done. It's the little things that Michigan State you can do. We talked about dominating the paint, with Ward adding to that. Sparty up 6.
I'm one of the greatest, ain't no debating on.
Fox College Football Friday under the lights. The Territorial Cup in prime time as Arizona visits Arizona State. 20th ranked Sun Devils will host at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on Fox. What has truly been a pendulum swinging first half. One team takes control and then another team answers. That's how it's been all half.
Well, keep in mind, North Carolina was up 7. Okay, and they were shooting in mid-40s. Michigan State, 35%. It switched because of this. Paint points, getting the ball inside. And this may be, Adam, a game of runs throughout. Who can get consistent stops going to walk out of here with a W.
Absolutely. It's Been a game of runs. It was a 7-point lead for North Carolina after they had that 8-0 run to make it 22-15. Since then, 13 straight from Spartan.
Well, think about this. North Carolina right now shooting 35%, and Michigan State has jumped up to 43. I'm sure that'll even out a little bit more, but it's 3:18 left in this half. Momentum on Michigan State's side. Let's see if North Carolina can kind of knock that down a bit and regain a little bit of their mojo before we head into half.
Mentioned these two teams met in Maui last year. They met in the NCAA tournament in 2024. Met in the 09 title game. Met in the Final Four in 2005. Rich history between a couple of excellent programs. Bogavats fires a contested three and knocks it down. A much-needed one for North Carolina.
Well, that's how you respond. You respond with patience. Use that top pick and roll. Bogavats right there had enough room over McCullough. Get his eyes focused on knocking in that shot.
Here's Spears. Trying to lob it inside. Good position for Ward and a foul. Wilson and Stevenson, all that length for Carolina was right there. A foul is called on UNC.
Yeah, but watch Bogavats right there. He freezes McCullough just enough to keep that space in between to get the shot up and over the top of the 6'10" redshirt freshman.
So now think about this. Bessar, Brown, and Wilson all have 2 fouls. Those are 3 6'10" and taller players basically for North Carolina right now. So some of that length is feeling some pressure with the fouls.
Yep, and like you said, Cooper has 2. And it's very important to you, talking about taking momentum with you. 2 to 3 of your main guys that interior-wise dominate are not going to be able to play this last 2.5 minutes. Yep.
I think Hubert Davis wanted a lane violation on that particular shot as well against Michigan State.
Yeah.
We saw 2 players from both sides, both kind of almost stumbling into the paint before the shot.
If I'm Tom Izzo too, I'm running my sets to be able to eventually get the ball to Jackson Kohler deep inside the challenge.
Foul
the
here.
bench players for North Carolina.
Want to try to get the step going to the rim and maybe get a little bit of touch inside. That's something you were talking about earlier as well. Just seemingly helps good shooting teams always appreciate a paint touch to spread things out.
But two feet in the paint, because what happens, your defense normally collapses, okay? And that allows you now to get those spray out threes. But also too, if you keep a team in rotation, when the shot goes up, the opportunity, like Michigan State now, 7 offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why coaches want to stay out of rotations a lot, because now you're not able to get body on body to man up on the defensive glass. Speaking of which,
offensive rebound, Stevenson split, another chance for North Carolina. Bogavats inside and it rimmed out. Kohler clears it. Here comes Spears with 2 minutes to play. Carr in the open floor. Good denial by Stevenson. Ward went back up with it on an offensive rebound, and he'll draw a foul.
the pressure to get back defensively. Michigan State is coming at you in waves. If you don't, your pickup points are too low. Cohen Carr able to get to the basket. He attracted 2 players. Guess what? Cam Ward able to get inside and pick up loose change on that offensive rebound.
That foul on Zayden High will send Cam Ward, a 29-point-per-game score at Largo High School in Maryland, playing for his father while his mother was the athletic director. Maryland's all-time leading public school scorer, over 2,700 points. That's the type of resume you see across the board with a lot of these guys.
Did you notice something, that a lot of kids who played for their parents scored a lot of points? Did you get the correlation? John Diebler is like the all-time leading scorer in Ohio.
That's right.
He played for his father.
That's right. Went to school with Jake and watched a lot of John.
Right.
Ward knocks down a pair. 5-point lead for Michigan State. Evans resets. Bogovac, the junior from Montenegro. Trying to penetrate. Good defense by Ugachukwu. Evans a long one. Tipped alive by Powell. Another offensive rebound in this game. It's 6 now for UNC. Bogovac inside. Good set up and high. Is able to finish off the glass. 75 seconds first half. It's been a thrilling first half so far. Back and forth we go. Fierce thought about it, hesitated. Instead goes back inside for Kohler. Fierce penetrates, spins, and shoots, and hits.
A lot of times Fierce is hesitant to shoot, but that time he felt the pressure of the shot clock going down. Got to his spot. That was a big-time shot over some really good defense.
Bogovac. Powell curling, driving all the way. A little too strong at the rim. High got the second chance opportunity. Shot clock never reset. Evans drives all the way and it rims out. Offensive rebound High. Deterred by Kohler. Thrown to Fierce. Shot clock is off. Here comes Carr. In the open floor. Denied by Stevenson. Got it back. Flings it out. Fierce can hold. Hubert Davis fired up, trying to get his team to clear a rebound. Fierce late in the clock. Stops. And it's a traveling violation. He just dragged the pivot foot according to Roger Ayers. Close play, and it's North Carolina ball with 3.6.
I want to take a look at, let's see if he picks up that pivot. No,
Ooh,
that's not a travel.
Very tough.
That's not a travel. That hesitation, that delayed stop is what did it. It's not a travel. That's a move that players work on consistently to allow the man to fly by him.
And North Carolina take advantage. Evans will not get it off in time, and that'll take us to the end of what was a high pace, high octane, high quality first half.
I mean, it really was, and this is what you expect. Shot in the air.
Something to keep an eye on. Michigan State been suffocating defensively for most of this season. North Carolina, including in its last game and against Kansas earlier this year, has put together 2 50-point second halves. So there's a lot at stake in terms of how these two teams have played in the early portion of the year in the second half.
And I like that because Michigan State has held each of its opponents under 70 points. Colgate got 66. Plus teams have only shot at the most 38%. Colgate got to about 40. So as good as offensive a team that North Carolina is, Michigan State may be even a better defensive team. So the question is, can North Carolina win one when it's really, really tight and close?
Wilson misfires. Keep an eye out. It was a foul on Kohler to start this half, his second. Got a bunch of bigs dealing with some foul issues. Cooper inside, off the feet from Fort, and a chance at a three-point play.
I wish you could see a shot of Tom Izzo, our fans right now, leaning back on this opposite side of the scorer's table. But the reason why is they flow right into their offense.
Yep.
This was a beautiful play design. It got Fort in the middle of the paint. What I talk about, 2 feet in the paint,
Yep.
Defenses collapse, and now you have opportunities. And Carson Cooper has grown so much as a player.
Not highly recruited, but he was a true development project for Tom Izzo. Now in his senior year out of Jackson, Michigan, a great soccer player in high school, but had to learn a lot of the nuances of movement at the collegiate basketball level, at the D1 level, and has. This is the largest lead for Michigan State. Inside, it's Bessar to cut into it.
Yeah, and how about that? Bogovic, almost the same kind of play. Got him off the dribble, shifted the defense, and Bessar able to get deep post position. But I can dunk as well.
Kohler needs help as he picked up the dribble. Lobs it over the top of Cooper, and it is out of bounds off of Cooper to North Carolina.
Both of these teams run some excellent offense this time. Bogovic able to get around the corner. Bessar able to get inside. And all you got to do is occupy the big, especially with that high screen and roll, because he's either going to help, and if he does, that opens up the ability for your big to roll inside. You just got to make the proper play.
Carolina offense was top 25 in the country in efficiency last year. They're top 40 so far this year. They've got some skill across the board. Vesar steps back, rainbow three to beat the buzzer. Clock winding down, and the high archer goes down. And now the Carolina fans are getting into it. Here's Cooper. And a quick silencer, and the noise goes back the other way. Vesar in the post, on Polar. Goes right back off the glass. Man, the bigs have been really fun to watch. Trying to get it to Carr. He slipped. And that pass came right at the time that Carr lost his footing. Here's Stevenson. He tried to feed it off to Wilson, who dives towards his own bench to try to save it. Other way to Michigan State.
Well, I told you, North Carolina, their size is versatility. It's size and versatility. Vesar able to knock down the three, said, I'm not done yet. Deep post position. I tell you what, being 7 foot has his advantages, plus a soft touch. So his ability to go inside and out provides a lot of flexibility offensively for Hubert Davis.
Guy who played ball in Madrid before getting an opportunity at Arizona for a few years.
Bro, you imagine kicking it and playing ball in Madrid? Come on, bro. I'm busy, here I come.
Hey, man, you and me are good. That's what we're retiring, brother.
Right?
Cooper gets the friendly roll.
And Cooper's starting to find that little gap right in the middle of the lane, below the free throw line, but above the arch that's open.
It's been a battle of Cooper and Vesar in the early going of this half. Bogavants, that won't go. Vesar snatches that rebound, but could not squeeze it. Kohler knocked it free. Here comes Fears. Lob! Short could not squeeze it. It went off the glass. It goes out of bounds. It will stay at this end of the floor with Michigan State.
And Fears would have been better off shooting it himself. He got so deep. I mean, you're right there in front of the rim. But he wants to make the play, but sometimes instead of the highlight play, the best play is the simple one, which was the shot, because you had Fort and you also had Carr crashing the boards if you miss it.
Tom Izzo was talking about almost wanting to have Fears be more mindful of when to shoot and how often to, because he wants him to be a little bit more aggressive offensively.
I think he's going to have to be, because teams are going to lay back off of him, and sometimes that will impact how efficiently the offense can work.
Here is Fears. He's going to have to go. It's going to be up to him. Off target. Vesar the rebound. Good defense by Wilson as he was there to deter defensively. Evans keeps the dribble alive. Evans, the Colorado State transfer. Slips again.
Same spot, too.
Yep. Got rid of it. Bogavants is open. That won't go. Rebounded by Cooper. Fears up ahead for Tank. Short. Vesar another rebound. 4+ minutes into this second half. And I think Vesar asked Brian Dorsey for an official's timeout to try to clean up some of the wet spots. Again, these guys are hitting the deck. The floor's a little slippery. Then you hit the deck. Then the perspiration's on the floor. It adds to it. Man, the pace of this game continues to stay high.
Sitting at the kids' table with all my siblings and my cousins, that's always a great time.
My grandma's mac and cheese, it tastes really good.
I'm not the biggest stuffing fan. I'm coming for the sides. I want the candy yams, the mac and cheese.
It's a sweet potato casserole. It's not really dessert, but the way that my wife makes it, brown sugar on top, it really is a dessert.
Hubert Davis knows what's up. Excellent stuff. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. Michigan State leads by 5. We talked about this, Jimmy. North Carolina has had huge second halves, 3 times with 50+, including their last game, including their big upset against Kansas. This is a team that can get going offensively, and we've talked about it with Henry Vesar. We've talked about it with multiple guys they can get going for this team. Our instant replay sponsored by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers locks in on Vesar.
But this is a different Michigan State team, so you're going to need 4 of this for Henry Vesar. the ability to stretch the defense and then get inside and get some tough twos. His versatility lends itself to high pick and rolls. Now you have to step out and help. He can roll to the basket, but also we haven't seen it as much. His playmaking with Caleb Wilson inside has been exquisite thus far this year. I thought Michigan State is doing a really good job of now allowing those two to really play off of each other. So it's going to be interesting, the tug of war that's going to go on as we kind of creep into the later stages of this game.
We saw it against St. Bonaventure just a couple of days ago. His drop-off abilities, really good passing from a 7-footer from Estonia. Again, he comes from that Real Madrid program. That's where Luka Doncic comes from. That's an area where they really play to finesse, regardless of what size you are. That's how the European game in general is played. And Vesar has some of that point guard skill ability.
It's the ability to read defense. That's a beautiful play.
How about that?
And that's Caleb patiently waiting for the back screen to help it to happen. For Vesar to be able to get back door. Beautiful play by Hubert Davis coming out of that timeout.
He's got all 9 in the second half for North Carolina, does Vesar. There's Carr with Bogovac on him. Ward inside against Vesar. No, but that allows Kohler to come in as Vesar was preoccupied. Wilson, he's being aggressive, and he draws a foul on Cam Ward.
But let's go back to that beautiful play coming out the timeout. And Vesar is going to be moving around and moving around, but it's a matter of him getting to this spot right here on the elbow. And once he gets there, now the back screen is there. You see? So the movement was to set up where he would get the back screen and ultimately get himself. Even if the lob wasn't there on him, he would have deep post position once he sealed inside.
Yeah, he would have had a size advantage on Kerr Tang, even if he received the pass. Here's Stevenson, long 2, won't go. Backside rebound for Fears. Behind the back, inside for Kohler. Drop-off pass for Cam Ward. Good ball movement from Michigan State. Here comes North Carolina down by 7. Evans trying to separate. That's a nice pass by Wilson. Opens it up for Bogovac, and he gets the bounce.
Off rim.
On this side of the floor, on the left side, that's where the softer rim is. Pull up from Tang, and it goes. Kerr Tang, the sophomore from New Hampshire. And a big game against Kentucky, had huge shots in their victory over the Wildcats. Stevenson a little out of control, but he'll bang it his way and pinball to a foul.
Well, interior passing. I mean, both of these two teams do it to perfection. Behind the back pass to Kohler, defense collapse, and guess what? Cam Ward able to benefit off of that. That's another area too Jackson Kohler has grown so much in. The ability, one, to read the defense. That just because you see the pass doesn't necessarily mean you can complete it. But the bigs on both sides of the table in this game can pass the rock.
Michigan State with a line change. We'll go Chukwu, Fears, Cooper, and Scott all come in. Aaron Stevenson, Chapel Hill native, went to Alabama for a couple of years, beat North Carolina as a 17-year-old freshman to help that team get to the Final Four. Knocks down the second free throw and comes off. Jonathan Powell checks in, the transfer from West Virginia. And now pressure being applied by the lengthy Tar Heels. Evans got in there, but Fears moves past. All the way into Vesar, and he scores. Michigan State with an 8-point lead. Bogavac's all the way inside.
I mean, you can't fall asleep. One team scores, they're pushing it right back.
Yep.
So Michigan State getting a little dose of their own medicine. That time, Fears able to score, but it was North Carolina right back at it.
Carolina, one of the faster teams in the country last year.
Yep.
Trying to get it to Kohler. Instead, it's Cooper. 5 on the clock. Cooper firing it up as Scott. It's short, long rebound. Bogobot's tipped it to Evans. Evans in a reach and foul.
All right, so tennis match. Okay, here we go. Head going on the swivel one way. So Fears is getting up, looking up. Great decision to shoot it right here. And then right back at you. The ball comes out. Luka Bogobot's right there, able to get inside and underneath.
Take a breath. We're seeing the NASCAR pit crews in and out at the scorer's table for both of these teams at times in this game.
But, you know, your coach got to trust you to play that way.
Yeah.
Fast. I mean, really do. That's when having the solid decision makers come into play. And if he was right there, he could have tried to throw and force a lob, but it wouldn't have made sense. So now you do the smart thing. You shoot it, force the big to commit. And a lot of teams want to play fast, but you got to have critical thinkers that are running your offense as well in order for it to operate the way you want.
So Evans sinks at the line. It's a 4-point game. Fort. Cooper. Tang. Watched by Evans. Cooper needs help. Ugochukwu comes to get it. Lobs out to Cooper off the back rim. 50-50 ball in the air belongs to Carolina. Powell, Evans, that's a three. That won't go. And a rebound to Cooper.
Cooper's had to bring the house down with that dunk right there.
A two-hand flush nearly blew the roof off here in Fort Myers. Here's Tang. Into the paint. That's a nice floater.
I love when you can flow into your offense and then go into a quick pick and roll, empty corner. That allows the guard to turn the corner, and then you can kind of pick your poison from there.
There's Wilson trying to get back into the offensive flow. And stuck at 10 points. What a feed off the ground, but he traveled. A little bit of a stumble leads to the travel after the great setup by Wilson.
You want to see some aggression, and here it is right here with that miss. But take decision making. Pull up, take the shot, money.
Ugochukwu, here's the trap. Brown and Evans making it tough. He squeezes out of there. Tang throws to Kohler for three. Biggest lead on either side belongs to Michigan State. Wilson in traffic. Got it back. Back up and in.
I'm going to tell you what, this is not a big arena, but the energy in here, because the fans are right up on us, you feel and hear everything. And this is what college basketball really is supposed to feel like in these intimate atmospheres, especially with two powerhouses going at it like this.
Both teams, both fan bases bringing energy tonight in Florida. 7-point game, 9 minutes into the second. Here's Powell. The cross. Good recovery by Tang defensively. Wilson against Cooper. The cross, the step, tough try, missed it at the rim.
That's what I mean by being off balance sometimes. He has a lot of those, not a lot, but a few of those, and that's a tough pass.
That's a break for North Carolina because Wilson was behind the play. That pace continues to be very high. Fun contest, Spartans and Tar Heels.
Hi, I'm Tom Izzo, head basketball coach at Michigan State, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy the day.
The greatest rivalry in sports is here. Top-ranked, defending national champion, the Ohio State, heads to the Big House to take on Michigan. It all starts at 9 a.m. with a special 3-hour Big Noon kickoff live from Ann Arbor. Then it's Michigan, Ohio State at noon only on Fox.
Our man is pumped up for the rivalry on Saturday. Rob Stone will anchor our coverage. Rob Stone texts us earlier. He's excited. Time for our coaching profile is sponsored by E-Trade from Morgan Stanley and Hubert Davis in his 5th year. He was a UNC freshman in 1988. Coach of the Year in the ACC a couple of seasons ago, wants to bounce back. They were just into the field late last year after that excellent finish to the season, but after winning in the first 4, they got knocked out by Ole Miss in the first round. They have higher hopes this year. If they take care of the ball like this, they're going to be in good shape. Both teams have done well.
I tell you what, it's tough, though. One, North Carolina, being a coach, the pressure there, that's one thing.
Yep.
You playing there and that's your Auburn, that's something else. Yep. Okay, you coming after Roy Williams, that's something else. Okay, so we got a lot of something else is there, and it's tough because his passion is for this university, and having the instant success right away. Well, now the fan base thinks that's going to happen all the time, but that's not the reality. And I love his demeanor and the way he's been able to kind of rebuild this roster. They're going to be there at the end of the day, but they got some work to do right now against Spartan.
5 national titles for Dean Smith and Roy Williams. It's a heavy crown to carry. Here is Vessar, and that'll help for North Carolina.
Smart. I mean, smart, intelligent basketball. Vessar has the size, and it was a cross screen, old school to get him, you know, right there at the block, and he just used his length right over the top of Cooper.
He's 6 of 8 from the field as Vessar for his 13 points. He guards Cooper. Bogavats was there to deter Carr on the backdoor. Cooper spinning inside, left it short. Vessar couldn't squeeze, Bogavats does. Bogavats across the paint. And a reset for Evans. Both teams have scored 20 in the second half so far. Here's Bogavats. Step back, that's a 3. And he got fouled by Cohen Carr. He'll have 3 free throws at the line.
You know who he reminds me of? He's a little bit smaller. Drazen Petrovic.
Oh, wow, what a comparison. That's a deep one.
He does, right? I mean, because they play kind of straight up, vertical, but they turn the corner, they get into their shot pockets, they're strong. You know, they kind of have this different feel and sense for the game. But a lot of his movements are a lot like, remind me of a young Drazen Petrovic, and those I played against them.
Yeah.
Heck of a player for, at that time, the New Jersey Nets.
But came from Europe and brought this style of play. And, you know, the guys like the Tony Kukocs and the Petrovics and the Sabonis's of the world, the Arvydas Sabonis's of the world, came over and brought this fluid style at different sizes, the ability to pass and shoot and defend. Guys that probably would fit into the modern game incredibly well. I always thought Tony Kukoc should be like the Hall of Famer if he played in this era.
Yep, to your point.
3-point games, he hits a pair. Here's Fears, the Chicago native. Grew up watching Tony Kukoc pull up Jay from the elbow.
Smart. If the defense is going to get lower on you, you keep pushing the ball a little bit lower, get to your comfort spot, pull up and make him pay. That's what he did on that one.
Looked like a highlight reel he watched on YouTube. 5-point game, 9 minutes to play. Looking on Tang, Bogavats sets up Vessar, big 3, around and out. Powell came flying in, and last touch by Tang to North Carolina.
The scouting report on Fears is that you go under the screens. Okay, you go under, guess what? That means you're going to be deeper as a defensive player. That's why you develop that 15-foot jump shot right there, even with the slip, able to get it up over the top.
I just saw Jeremy's younger brother, who's a rookie in the NBA with the Pelicans. Jeremiah is doing a nice job with New Orleans. He's been helping run the point for them.
Bro, I'm telling you, he is maybe one of the breakout rookies this year. I love watching him play.
Top flight pick out of OU. Nice finish at the rim by Evans, scooping it with the right hand from the left side. 3-point game. Whole game's been played in a 16-point window. Gears trying to dip inside for Ward. It was deflected into the hands of Evans. He wanted Bogavats. Instead, up ahead for Powell. And he slows it down right in front of Hubert Davis. Hubert's hopping around trying to communicate the play call.
High pick and roll.
With Bogavats. pulls up, leans in, left it short. Inside of 8 to play. Here's Carr. Here's Ward, now the freshman against Stevenson. And some bumps and a Stevenson foul will take us to the under-8 timeout. Awesome contest. Number 11, number 16, a pair unbeaten in Florida.
Hey, Jimmy.
Double helping of Hey Jimmy. You ready for our last one today?
Thanksgiving, let's get it.
All right,
this is going to be a good
Steve.
one, I know.
I know it.
Let's roll it.
Hey, Jimmy, you think being a grandfather for the second time has mellowed me?
No, not after practice I saw yesterday.
I was going to say, there was some intensity that you and I got a chance to see during Michigan State's practice today. Well, although we have seen a couple of moments where Tom has been leaning back when his offense is playing well, but a grandfather twice over now. His daughter Raquel and her husband Matthew with their 2.5-year-old Isabel and their 2-month-old Sophie, and they're both in the building today.
Well, listen, I'm sure the players are like, please bring them to practice so you can
we get the calm
version of Tom Izzo, because he is as intense, but I think it's more surgical now. Okay, he's more surgical with his comments, so to speak, and his directives.
I imagine they still dissect me more, though.
Yeah, but I think it's still needed in today's game because I'm going to be honest with you, these young men and women want to be coached, want to be coached hard, but it has to come from the right voice. And a lot of times it's the messenger who's delivering that message. And young men and women can take it the wrong way if it's the wrong person.
Oh, deflection by Wilson, but into the hands of Fears. Down to a 3-point ball game. Wilson's back out there with Bessar. Trying to get it into Ward. Here's the talented freshman inside, and he uses the glass.
Well, out of the timeout, they got the mismatch they wanted inside, and Ward, instead of rushing to get to a spot, really dissected the defense and got to a spot.
Here's Bessar. He's been huge in the second half. Both offenses better here in the second stanza. That's a deep one from Evans. Long rebound to Cohen Carr.
You know, and I would slow it down a little bit and go right back into trying to get either Jackson Cole or Carr again. I mean, Ward inside for a deep post-up position.
Ward's got 9. There's Kohler, who's got a double-double. 10 points, 11 rebounds. Back outside. Fears a 3. Got hit.
I'm going to tell you how simple the game is. Get the ball inside, the double team comes. Now you're going to have the opening. Step up, just like you're in practice. Have confidence in shooting. A lot of times you can't control if it goes in, but if you're making the right play, if you're shooting the shot that you shoot in practice all the time, and you have confidence, the percentages are always going to be in your favor.
Michigan State holds on to an 8-point lead. Here comes Evans. To Wilson. Bobbled, lost it, and Fort clears it. A turnover by North Carolina. Fears lobs. Ward finishes. Biggest lead of the game for State. And a foul on Carr. 7 straight for Michigan State. First double-digit lead on either side.
Yeah, well, live ball turnover. Caleb Wilson trying to go too fast, and Fears gets it up to Cam Ward in transition. Young fella is anxious to kind of get into his motion. Caleb Wilson was that time, and you call football games, you got to catch it before you can run with it.
The receiver taking his eyes off the ball even momentarily often leads to disaster.
But I tell you what, games like this will help that young man as they start to bleed into conference season. He's going to be so much more mature and ready and polished. I say come February.
You can already tell he has such a maturity about him.
Big time.
Here's Bogovac. That's a triple. Wilson on the backside, couldn't squeeze it. Loose on the deck to Ward. Nice save. Inside of 6 to play. Carr was covered up. 4 on the clock. It's 4. And a bump late in the clock on Powell. These are the players to watch that we popped right at the top, and they have produced.
Well, they have. And, you know, Jeremy Fears hasn't had to score, but when he's had to kind of make plays happen, he's been able to do it. Some solid decision making. Again, the strength of the program's winning ways has always been the play of the point guard for Michigan State.
Had some comparisons to Mateen Cleaves going back to that 2000 title team.
Yep.
Feeds it to Cooper late in the clock. Takes it in.
See how you kept it up? Overtime. That's beautiful. Kept the ball above his head. Absorbed the contract. Eyes up at the rim. And Tom Izzo is right there on the court loving it.
Welcome back to the Skechers Fort Myers tip-off from Florida. A 64-52 Michigan State lead. Just over 5 minutes to play. Back to what we talked about at the top. Keys to this ball game, Jimmy. The paint certainly imperative for Michigan State.
No, it really is. Able to keep this high-powered offense down to 30, and then now you look at UNC, only 7 turnovers. So a lot of those not resulting into fast break opportunities.
We talked about Carson Cooper and his contributions in this game. He's got 14 points to lead the Spartans.
But think about this. He's just doing a little bit of everything. Talked about player development. The ability now to shoot that. Look, hands up, ball up, drop the contact. I mean, that's a heck of a play from the former All-State high school goalkeeper in soccer back in the day. But you talk about player development, phenomenal to watch his transformation, not just from a skill perspective, but you said this, from truly understanding how to play the position. That is as important as the skill itself.
He's one of 4 Spartans in double figures. He's the high man in this game. It's the largest lead for Michigan State. North Carolina's got the ball. Yep. Bogovac, Vessar, both out there with Derek Dixon, Caleb Wilson, and Jonathan Powell.
Look for Vessar to try to get something. Caleb is in the middle of the court.
There's Powell. Trying to post up Wilson, who's been stuck at 10 points for a while. Oh, not stuck anymore. My goodness, what a spin and finish.
Man, that's when he's under control. Now that vertical becomes even more apparent because he's able to spring right up. My goodness, what a outstanding move off of great footwork.
Now a couple of baskets here in the second half for Wilson. And he gets into the passing lane there. Great effort by Wilson, but out of bounds with 8 to shoot.
Well, in space, Caleb Wilson can just flat out go. The footwork, the help is there, but then the explosion.
He is a projected lottery pick, possibly a top 5 pick. And we asked Hubert Davis, does he think about that? Do you talk to him about that? He goes, I try to talk to him about it. And he goes, I'm not worried about it. He's so present in the moment. That's some of the maturity of Wilson. Fears, late on the clock. Vessar trying to get a piece. Instead, the bank is open on Thanksgiving. Wilson right back at it. Inside, he gets it to roll home. The shot making in this game has left some jaws on the floor. 4 minutes to go in a 10-point game. Hard not to smile while we're sitting here watching the back and forth nature of these excellent teams going at it. There's the block. Fort got rejected by the length of Powell. Trying to make it a single-digit game, North Carolina. Wilson now the high man in the game with 16. Dixon off the back rim. Bessar trying to tap it alive, but into the hands of Fears. Trying to settle things down. Cooper flashes. Fears again. There's that high hedge from Bessar. They left Cooper open. Mid-range jumper won't go. Oh! Colin Carr flying through it up. Flush it home. Wilson was on the move. I think it was a Cooper foul against Michigan State. A flurry on this Thanksgiving holiday.
Oh, Jeremy Fears, listen, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Straight off the backboard in the middle. They saw you tall, but not tall enough. Take that. And then I was wondering what happened to Flight 55. Oh, back in the building. Big time play.
Hey, don't forget the postgame show coming up. We'll head back out to Fort Myers and hear from the winning team. We also have the defending national champions getting knocked off by an unranked team. And we'll look ahead to a top 15 showdown between UConn and Illinois. That's going to be a good one. Adam and Jim, happy Thanksgiving, fellas. Send it back to you.
Much appreciated, Mike. Appreciate all of you guys back in studio working on this holiday and bringing some fun hoops. It's been a fun day of sports on Fox. Spartans fans, I'm sure, hoping for a little bit of respite after the Lions lost to Green Bay. They're up 12 now on North Carolina. The Stars have played like stars in this contest.
No, they have. And Jeremy Fears is the one I think is making a difference here. Listen, this Michigan State team at this point of the season already a high-level team. But to be elite, they need this kind of performance. And what I mean is just being aggressive to score. Because his ability to get to his spots is one thing, but now if he becomes the threat of that he is willing to shoot and score the ball, the offense operates at a whole another level for Spartan.
So top 25 efficiency offense last year, just like North Carolina was. Fears at the controls of all of it. Big free throw opportunity for Caleb Wilson. It's a 1-in-1 chance. He's the high man in this game, trying to cut into the largest deficit. Bessar, though, gets the rebound and gets tripped up by Carr, who was already on the deck. Another foul, and that's now a fourth on Colin Carr.
That's just excellent anticipation that time by Bessar to track that down and kind of keep this possession alive to be able to cut into this league. A lot of time left, 2:45, 3-possession game, basically. Now got a chance to cut it to a 2-possession game with 2 of these free throws.
1-and-1 coming for Bessar, who's right around 70% on the season for the free throw line. Hubert Davis and his team goes on the road to Kentucky for an ACC-SEC game on Tuesday. They'll have Georgetown. ACC play is going to be here before you realize it. Just about a month away. Will not go, so 2 front ends missed by Wilson and Bessar. Carr trying to get out of a trap, and a foul is called against North Carolina. They have a foul to give. That's 3 on Bessar. In fact, they still have another foul to give after this one. Here's Fears. Gonna beat the trap. Almost lost it. Get it to Cooper. Wilson out on Fears. The blow by, the drive, and a hard foul as Fears was met by Bogovac. And 2 shots coming for Jeremy Fears Jr.
If I'm Tom Izzo at the end of this game, I'm trusting Jeremy Fears with the ball in his hands. We're going to bleed some clock. First of all, you got to get stops on the opposite end and allow Jeremy Fears to kind of orchestrate this offense. Slow everything down, get into your sets. Defensively, you got to be ready because North Carolina, I'm sure knowing Hubert, they're going to push this thing up quick, get into some actions to see if they can pick up a quick basket or a foul. Not force anything, but the clock is not their ally. There's only 2:14 left.
Fears had a quote last year in a huddle, overheard when he yelled at Tom Izzo, said, "I want to win worse than you do." That's the leader of this Michigan State group that just put him up by 14. 15 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds for Fears, and the largest Spartans lead of the game right now. Big shot, Bogovac needed it, would not go.
Good look, great play.
Yeah, Bogovac's got an online shot there too, and Fears is trying to rev up the Spartans crowd. That was kicked for a second by Cooper.
He kicked it. You got to be strong.
Yep.
Oh, he got to wait. Caleb Wilson tried to stop.
That should have been a kick call against Cooper.
Yep.
Time for our play of the game. It's sponsored by Old Trapper. What's your beef? The big shot by Fears, one of several.
Big time player. Doesn't lack the confidence to run a team. You know, when your name is mentioned in the same vein as great Mateen Cleaves at Michigan State, that's saying something. And he's only, you know, sophomore right now with a lot of gems left to download.
20 years old, that's it.
Yep.
90 seconds left. Fears skips it. Tar drives and got met at the summit. No whistle for a jump. They'll keep the play going. Wilson, and a foul called against Fears as he comes back. Carr had deadly intentions, well defended by North Carolina.
I mean, when I saw him go up and I saw the traffic, and fortunately he's able to get that right foot down to brace himself.
Ooh.
I love to see the expansion. He's a junior. Instead of that attack, which I do like, the nice little pull-up, because the defense is expecting you to come to the lane. So that nice little pull-up, add that to your repertoire. Caleb Wilson, money.
Was the 29th point of this second half. When we talked about, can North Carolina's offense find the second half magic? Can Michigan State's defense sustain? So far, the answer.
And look at this number here.
That's right.
Under 70 once again to Michigan State defense. And what, you know, Tom talked about perimeter defense. He wanted his perimeter guys to guard a lot better. And they've been doing that because if you're able to cut that off a little bit, it diminishes what a team does offensively. Let it break the press.
Michigan State breaks it. Carr slows it down with 65 seconds left. And right back to Fears. North Carolina wants a double here. Bogovac was asking for help from Evans. Fears cross court. 8 on the shot clock. It's Fears. Leads and scores. Might be the dagger, and a fitting one from Fears after his fantastic performance today. Wilson short, rebound, Ugachukwu. And in a matchup of unbeaten Fears in Florida today. A thrilling contest. Looks like it's going to go Michigan State's way. Fears. Wow. Spartan moves to 7-0 and delivers North Carolina its first loss of the season.
Unbelievable performance by Michigan State.
Fears at 19.